they're not flexing that resilience muscle. And especially with money, if you don't learn to flex that muscle early and often, it's going to be so much harder to like succeed at anything, but especially money, right? It'll eat you whole for sure.
And what is resilience really? Not giving up, right? When we fail, we don't give up, we get back up and we get back on track, whatever we are doing. But what stops that resilience? If we look back, fear of failure. We are so scared to get back up after we fail because the memory of pain or falling stays with us for so long, we don't even want to try.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Financial Mastery Simplified. I am your host, Jacqueline or Jax Crider, and today we have Miss Sapna. She is a parental or parenting success coach. And, she's going to tell us a little bit about what that means. And you're saying, but how does that have to do with money? And we're going to get into that here in a minute. So welcome, Sapna. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. Tell the audience a little bit about who you are, what you do, and what we want to talk about today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always so much fun talking to you, Jack. So I'm a parenting coach. I'm trained in conscious parenting and neuro-linguistic programming. And what that means is I'm certified in connection over correcting your children. So it's more about knowing yourself, knowing your child. So it takes away all the pressure of discipline and control and makes things easy and flowy. So basically that. So I give my parents courses, do coaching, and there's a lot of communication skills, self-regulation skills that they bring not only into their parenting aspect, all aspects of life, including finances.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I mean, let's be real, like just on its face, the success of your family has a lot to do with your stress, which is going to bleed into just about everything, including money, right? And raising children is definitely not for the faint of heart, especially because so often I find that they're like mini versions of ourselves. My daughter, she may look exactly like her dad, but man, is she and me in personality. And I look at her all the time and I think, man, I'm going to pay for every single ounce of my raising with you. Every stubborn thing, every way I challenge my parents, like here it is right here to smack me up in the face. So
yeah, but look at it this way, they bring up all the stuff that needs to be looked at, cleaned up, because if not parenting, it's going to show up in some other form or format, maybe with your spouse, with your friends, with your coworkers, in your finances. So
right.
Kids are those mirrors that they're showing, oh, you know what, this is one aspect you need to look into. So it's a great way because this relationship is important to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is the only place where we might pause and think like, what's happening? I need to fix this. Because with a friend you can leave, your neighbor you can shift the house, spouse you can leave, with your child you cannot do this. So this relationship is so important, and they bring up all those mirrors that if we are brave enough to look at those mirrors, it's going to change every aspect of our life.
Yeah. That's a really good way to look at it. I never really thought about it that way, like that exact, phrasing, but that's so incredibly true, right? And then not only that, but I think what you really wanted to talk about today, and I agree with you, is just resilience, right? And how that affects, money and how that changes and challenges things. And I think also resilience is something that is so important in parenting, not just that we're resilient, right? Because like we have this huge burden / privilege, both, right? A little bit of both of like, raising up these children. And my mom has a saying that we're not raising children, we're raising adults, right? We're trying to prepare them for the real world. And some of that included is resilience, right? And it's just such an important thing that unfortunately, I feel like in today's society, so many people are kind of lacking, if you will, right? They're not flexing that resilience muscle. And especially with money, if you don't learn to flex that muscle early and often, it's going to be so much harder to like succeed at anything, but especially money, right? It'll eat you whole for sure.
Yeah, that's so true. And what is resilience really? Not giving up, right? When we fail, we don't give up, we get back up and we get back on track, whatever we are doing. But what stops that resilience? If we look back, fear of failure. We are so scared to get back up after we fail because the memory of pain or falling stays with us for so long, we don't even want to try. I usually tell parents, we don't want children who don't fail. We want children who don't give up. Because failure, the more you fail, stronger you're going to get. How important is the end goal? Now, this I've seen in many families, in many cultures, including mine, that when we fail, parents start criticizing the child. Come on, why didn't you do better? You could have done better. What happened? So
Right.
it creates this fear of failing. So we are not concentrating or focusing on what we want, which is the end goal. We are so scared of the pain of failure, and we get stuck. We don't even want to try anymore now because the
For sure.
pain is awful. So that's why we need to bring our focus on, like, how are you going to get back up and prepare for this failure. The sooner you fail, the faster you're going to get to the goal. So if you have those plans in those actions, what am I going to do when I fail? Because you are going to fail.
I think people like, and I know that in the family that I was raised, like my mom is very focused on presenting yourself well, really kind of like this perfectionist mindset, and it held me back for a really long
Mhm.
time. Not because what her aim, I mean, her aim on its face is pure, right? Like you want to present the best
Mhm.
possible way, you want to elevate yourself, you want to always be learning, and all those things are true. But when you put such a restriction that it's like it is like that deathly fear of failure, then any buddy, who, well, and we all do it, right? We sit and overthink, and we're like, oh, if I haven't thought this all the way through, I can't possibly do this, whatever, right? And it's that fear of failure, and that is not going to help with resilience. It's not going to help you, succeed with anything. And honestly, a lot of those patterns that you learn in childhood is what holds you back with money. I mean, people don't realize there's so much
Mhm.
going on. Most people actually create their values and their like philosophy, thought process around money around 10 years old, which
Yeah.
is well before adulthood, right? I mean, think
Yeah.
about that. That's like dang near halfway between, right? Like adulthood and childhood. I mean, that's a pretty long time window. And
Mhm.
so if you're not willing to have some resilience, to be willing to step
Mhm.
out, to break the mold, to say, okay, well, maybe that's how my family handled money. However, that's not the way that either resonates with me. That's not the way that makes
Mhm.
sense. That kind of defies the rules, or whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
You're not going to get to where you want to be financially, right? You're not going to master it in a way that you
Yeah.
want, or even feel like you are doing well.
Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this message from our sponsors.
Imagine having the power to control your financial destiny, no matter where you start. Welcome to the Financial Mastery Simplified course and resource platform, where financial education is tailored to your unique journey. We cover everything you need, from basic budgeting and saving strategies to advanced investing and retirement planning. Learn at your own pace with lessons that match your level of experience. Whether you're a beginner or looking to enhance your financial knowledge, join our community of learners and benefit from shared insights and expert guidance. The Financial Mastery Simplified course and resource platform equips you with the skills and confidence to take charge of your financial future. Ready to master your finances? Enroll in our courses today at the Financial Mastery Simplified course and resource platform. Start your path to financial independence now.
Visit us at fms.tips and fms.college for more information.
Hello and welcome to PBJ Mortgage, where your home ownership dreams become reality. Today, we want to share why choosing PBJ Mortgage is the right choice for your home financing needs. At PBJ Mortgage, we're built on a foundation of values that drive us every day. Our commitment to educate, empathize, and empower our clients sets us apart in the mortgage industry. Our clients are at the heart of everything we do, and their success stories speak volumes. With years of experience, our team possesses in-depth knowledge of the mortgage programs, ensuring you receive expert guidance and the best possible rates. We offer a diverse range of loan options to suit your unique needs, including conventional, FHA, VA, and more. No matter your situation, we've got a solution. At PBJ Mortgage, we pride ourselves on providing personalized service. Our dedicated loan officers are here to guide you every step of the way, making the process as smooth as making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. We understand that time is of the essence, which is why we've streamlined our processes for efficiency and convenience. Transparency and clear communication are paramount. You'll always know where you stand throughout your mortgage journey. Reach out to us today to set up a call to discover your options. If you're ready to make your home ownership dreams a reality, contact PBJ Mortgage today. Let us empower you during this exciting journey. Phone number 4693733 www.pbjteam.com. Visit our website or give us a call to get started. We look forward to helping you secure your future home. PBJ Mortgage, where home begins.
Thanks for your patience.
That is, bingo. What you said is so true. And we need to inspect those beliefs. We just let them be, and we think this is how things are, this is how I am, or this is how the world works. We don't inspect those stories, those belief systems, those patterns that we inherited, and breaking those patterns. Because what's money? It's energy, just like how you nurture our relationships. So is
Exactly.
money when you nurture them. But what's actually blocking? Stories. What are the stories, the common stories that you hear? I'm not worth. This reminds me, we also attach our worth to the money that we make. So if you think
Absolutely.
I'm not worthy to have money, or money is evil, or I can't make money, and I cannot keep it, all those things we need to inspect, because these are
Yep.
stories we're telling ourselves, right? Which are not true.
No, it's very interesting. Like something that I started realizing when I started working in mortgage is it's like I would say that a lot of people, probably a good 75+% of people, have this desire to own a home. Partly because it's like a place, where you raise your family and you spend time, right? And you could kind of put your own stamp. Part of it because it was sort of built inside of us, at least as Americans, like that kind of manifest destiny idea and philosophy. But what is very interesting is the people who believe that that is obtainable for them and the people who don't. And it's interesting because for me, that was never a question. Like I knew that I was not only going to be a homeowner, but that I was going to be one as early as possible. And that I just that was just something that I wanted to obtain. But I have dealt countless times over the course of my career with people who really don't think that that is on the table for them. And there's some story they're telling themselves. It's sort of why I got into the financial coaching side, is because I'm like, okay, if I need to help you financially succeed, like we got to go back, like we got to look and see like what's underlying, what is a story that you're telling yourself that is not letting you like level up and like get to the next level, right? And actually, this is where I feel like what you do is so incredibly important, because I think the old school way of parenting, right? Like back in the day, I mean, and we have to go all the way back and remember that our ancestors, I mean, heck, some of them were just trying to feed us, like, right? I mean, we weren't in the kind of level of crazy abundance that we are truly as a society and as a place now than we were back then. And so, yeah, I mean, some of those stories they were telling were probably true to them at the time, right? And then now we haven't realized that we've gone so much farther, and it's time to like unprogram that, right? Not put that crap on our kids, because it's going to negatively affect everything, not only resilience, but like how they're viewing money as a whole.
You look back at history. We have gone through war, and we've not had food, and people
Right.
killing each other. There was so much lack there. At that time,
Right.
our ancestors just had to survive. Having bread a day was a huge thing, and being
Right.
safe, just being safe was priority there. So here's what's happened, that the way the brain has worked, historically, we have this mammalian brain which has to keep us safe, so it looks for dangers everywhere. So when we
It's the
activate
amygdala, right?
yeah. So we have to activate our prefrontal cortex, which is present, which tells you the difference between what is rational fear and what is an irrational fear. There is no cyber truth tiger anymore, but we still are scared, like something is going to attack us. And we bring the same fear in our relationships, in the stories we think about finances, what we have bought into, the stories from our grandparents, our parents. Money is important, it doesn't grow on trees, and you have to so we have to inspect those, because we are living in a totally different kind of society now than back then. We don't have to be so scared.
For sure. Yeah, it's like I said, it's very interesting. And as the more research that I personally do, right, for myself and like how I shift and change some of those tendencies, it's fascinating. And I would say that resilience is a lot of it because the truth is you're right, you have to be willing to fail to move forward on anything, right? I mean, money included for sure, but like you have to just resign yourself to the fact that no rock is going to be falling out of the sky to bonk you on the head and give you all the information you need to be able to go and do whatever it is you're trying to do, right? Whether it's make all the money in the world or help parent your child effectively or whatever it is. Like that's just not going to happen. And so a lot of times it is a muscle. And I think, especially with the parenting piece, that is like your area of expertise. It's interesting the way that we as a society have felt like eliminating obstacles for our children is like the gold standard of parenting, when in fact it's actually the opposite, right? Like it will create all kinds of harm when they jokingly said, what was it back in the 90s, there was like the helicopter parents, right? Early 2000s where the parents were hanging out and trying to see what's going on, and now they call them the snowplow parents, right? Where they just like plow everything out of the way to make sure that there's no obstacles. And that makes me so sad because those children are not going to create the resilience they're going to need, not just to succeed financially, but just in life. Like they're always going to be looking for somebody to clear the path. And the truth is, that's not how life goes.
Yeah. And I come up with a lot of this in parenting. And when we look back as to why parents are coming from pure intentions, they want their child to be happy. They don't
For
want
sure.
them to go through pain. Yeah, the intention is pure. But if you peel back those layers as to what's happening here, parents are so afraid of their children feeling pain, the pain of failure, maybe the pain of not having resources, maybe the pain of failure, maybe because they haven't dealt with their own fear of pain, and they think pain is intolerable and it's something to be run away something we need to run away from, and always chasing happiness, being happy. Imagine a life where you're happy, 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 happy all the time. That's not something. Life throws all emotions at you and everything for a reason, right? We fall so that we learn to get back up, but we're so scared of that because we haven't sat and felt that pain, and we haven't accessed the lessons that it's showing us. So we want to push past all of that and get back to joy faster, quicker. And that's what we're trying to do for our children, not understanding that this is the way life works. It has all emotions. We need to feel everything, get past it. And that is what makes us stronger, braver, more creative. Even boredom, right? Let's take boredom, for example. Boredom is a place from where creativity is born, but we're so afraid of letting our children being bored. We hand electronics to them, and then children get addicted, and then we don't know what to do with it. It's a cycle. So it comes back to that resilience. How is resilience born? When we learn how to fail, we know how to sit with the pain of failure, we know how to get back up, how to self-regulate. We're stronger, right?
Absolutely.
Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this message from our sponsors.
Welcome to Financial Mastery Simplified, your go-to podcast for making smart money decisions. We break down complex financial topics into easy-to-understand advice you can use every day. Our experts cover everything from budgeting and saving to investing and retirement planning. We give you the tools to take control of your money and build the future you want. With Financial Mastery Simplified, you'll feel informed and empowered to make the best choices for your financial health. Tune in to Financial Mastery Simplified on your favorite podcast platform. Start your journey to financial confidence today.
Visit us at fms.tips and fms.college for more information.
Welcome to House U, where we believe in the power of education. At House U, we're more than just a brand. We're your partner in home ownership, dedicated to educating, equipping, and empowering you every step of the way. Education is at the heart of everything we do. We offer comprehensive resources designed to make home ownership simple and accessible for all. From understanding mortgage options to mastering home maintenance, House U provides the knowledge you need to make informed decisions with confidence. We host workshops and seminars, bringing together experts and community members to share insights and build a stronger, more informed community. Because when you're educated, you're empowered. House U, home ownership made simple for all. Visit our website or contact us today to start your journey with House U. Empower yourself with knowledge and embrace the joy of home ownership.
Thanks for your patience. Now back to our conversation.
Well, I mean, how can you really appreciate things unless there's a process? Like, that's one of the things that I learned early on. So I have 3 adult stepdaughters, and I've been in their life for a long time, but I only really became like stepmom kind of later. Like, they were in their high school years, right? And my oldest is autistic, and she's an amazing woman. And I saw her mom, out of love for her, trying to pave the path where she didn't have so much struggle, right? Because she wanted her things to be easy and things like that or whatever. But what we saw is that there then was this inner struggle with self-worth, because a lot of our self-worth, and I watch this literally play out with my toddler, is that ability to do things yourself, right? Even if you didn't do them perfectly, even if you stumbled a little bit or whatever, right? Like, think about a little kid. Like, that's what my toddler does. She says, I did it. I did it. I did it, mommy. I did it. Right. And honestly, the same has to be true in everything in our lives. I mean, finances included. We have to do that earning, and we have to show that resilience and stand up and say, hey, look at this, I did it, and celebrate it, right? Like, that when you did, I mean, even if it wasn't perfect, like, that's okay. Like, I did it, right? I mean, are there things I probably would have changed about the book that I wrote and published? Yeah, maybe. But I did it, right? I went through the process. It was not an easy thing necessarily, right? Like, as far as putting in that time, that effort, but I took those steps forwards. And anything in life is that way. And I think with money, a lot of times people are really discounting the aspect of, hey, yeah, okay, cool. Like, you failed, but so what, right? Like, get back up. I mean, look at most major businesses. A lot of them have gone through bankruptcies, whether it be restructuring, total liquidation, right? I mean, things like that. And so people,
KFC.
what'd you say?
KFC. I
Yeah, I
think
mean,
it's
oh yeah, so many of them. So many of them, and people are like, "Oh, well, that's a business." Yeah, but somebody is the one who created that business, right? And I mean, I tell people, and I haven't shared my entire full story just because some of it is still continuing to go on, but right now, personally, there's a lot of financial struggles that is happening on the back end of my life. I know it's a temporary setback. I also know that it will fuel my message and allow me to pour into people in a way that is bigger and broader. Does it make me feel like a failure sometimes? Sure. Does it make me feel like an imposter sometimes? Also sure. Right? I mean, it's not exactly like a fun feeling when you're not exactly in the best financial spot, when you understand and know the rules about money, right? And things like that. And you want to beat yourself up and be like, well, I could have avoided that. I mean, maybe, but sometimes, like, what happened and created us all of our issue in a lot of ways is something that was out of our control. It had nothing to do with us. Like, that created this kind of domino effect in our financial space, right? And so I have 2 choices. I can wallow in it. I could sit and I could say, okay, we'll see, I'm a failure, so I should wrap up all my businesses and just go, do something else or whatever. Or I can use my voice. I could speak to it. I could see the positives, right? The people that have been placed in my life that have helped me in this period of extreme struggle. And I can be thankful. I could show gratitude. Like, I can practice what I preach on the podcast, or I could just let it destroy me.
That's true. It all comes back to self-worth and self-trust, that I
True.
can do this. I am going to come out of this. I have the ability. And how do you build a self-trust and a self-worth is through connection with yourself, which not most of us have been taught this. We've always been taught to look on the outside, how much money you have, what's on the outside, what kind of a car do you drive. Or when we come back to what brings us joy, like serving, what brings the creativity, that you are so absorbed in it that you lose all track of time, and how much fun you're having, and while helping others, what kind of value and meaning you're bringing to life. The money aspect is just the icing on top. It
For
is going to
sure.
come. I mean, if you love doing what you love to do, I'm sure the money is just going to flow because you have that trust in you. Like coming back to resilience, I know if I'm going to run a race, let's say, I know I'm going to fall, but also I can get back up. That's self trust.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, and I mean, it it's look, life is not it's not exactly always as you have planned. I mean, I always talk about intention, and it is very important to have some intention, right? Like money and everything in life needs a plan, a vision, right? You need to be very intentional about what it is you want, where are you going, how do you want to get there. But you also have to step back and understand that, okay, even though I laid out this roadmap or this thought or this plan, it's not always going to go exactly as you had hoped. I promise, right? Like there's going to be some little grenades that got dropped in there because of other interaction with other people, because of just, timing, whatever the case that it is. But to your point about money, it is just simply a tool. It isn't like, I think so many people have attached, like they place such heavy attachment, like they're tying their success to like gobs of money. And this is again where I say, no, financial mastery is not about you having multi-millions worth of dollars and like, oh, whatever. It's about living a life of intention that you wanted and that you are proud of and that you're happy of, right? That you're pleased with. Because so often, again, I go back to myself and my brother. We have very different viewpoints on like what drives us, what allows us to feel fulfilled, right? And feel whole. And so the fact that my brother lives in a smaller house, and that's great for him and his wife and his kids, and they're really happy with that, and that's exactly what they want their life to look at. I don't knock him for that. Right? Do I think that he's crazy because I couldn't do that? Yes, there's days I think he's a little crazy because I couldn't do it. I'll be real. But on the other hand, I'm super happy that he knows himself well enough, right? That he's dug down deep enough in himself to ask what he wanted and what he wanted life to look like and what financial mastery was for him.
Right.
And he figured that out, right? And that's amazing.
Yeah. So one of the exercises we usually do in our workshops is we ask our clients to project themselves in the future, way in the future, towards the end of their life maybe, and now they turn back and look at your lifeline. What kind of a life you have planned? Like when you are in my, like let's say when I'm in my 80s or 70s, whatever, when I look back at my life, did I love, did I create those connections, did I laugh loudly, did I go into an adventure? How is money serving me? But if I'm
Right.
going to aim at, which car I had, which home, what kind of a house I lived, those are not going to serve me towards the end of my life. Is my family around me? Did I enjoy my life, this journey? So
For sure.
once they go to the end and look back, it changes their perspective when it comes to finances. Like you said, back to what you said, it's a tool. It's just a tool to make our life easier. It's not about our whole life.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and like, I think that's another thing too. I did this exercise in a coaching program that I'm a part of, and you had to figure out like how much money you wanted to make annually. And when you put all of those things down, basically the coach's point was, why did you put that number down? Did you put it down because somebody told you to put it down? Or did you work backwards and you figure out that that's really what you wanted to do and whatever? Like one of my biggest desires to make a lot of money is not it's not coming out of a selfish place. Like, yes, it will help serve me and like give my, my children better opportunities and things like that. But that's not really the reason that I want to make a fair bit of money. I want to do it because number one, it'll be the evidence that I have touched the amount of people in the lives that I really intended to touch. And number two, it gives me the ability to give back in a bigger and broader way. Right? I can use that money and I can give towards things that I'm passionate about. I can help other people who maybe need that leg up, right?
Yeah.
From the financial perspective. And so again, that's where again money is a tool, and everybody has different drivers. And so I feel like in order to truly meet a financial mastery beyond resilience, you also have to have, like you were talking about, that self-understanding of exactly, what is driving you, why, because again, money will come when you are being intentional, when you have that sense of resilience, when you have that sense, and then also when you know why.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why does it need to exist?
Yeah.
Why are you bringing it into your world and into your space,
Yeah.
right?
And let's be real, money is fun. Who doesn't like money? We all like
For
money.
sure.
Yeah, it's not, it's about abundance. Let's talk about abundance versus money.
That's my word of the year, abundance.
Abundance, right? We need to have unlimited money, because how many people we know who have money but they're miserable, the stresses, the
For
ailments
sure.
they're having. So that is not the goal. Abundance is the real goal. Look around you, how much abundance we have. Could be that we could breathe today, we could walk today. um, Abundance, as you see abundance when you go into a grocery store. I use this all the time whenever I go into a grocery store. The abundance around me, the apples and the tomatoes, and I don't have to go and do hard labor to have access to all of them. You just walk into a store, and just for a moment, if you pause and look around you, the abundance that you can go into a store and pick up what you want. I use this as a regular practice when I walk into a store. I'm like, oh my God, look at all these apples here. Look at all these vegetables here. It's a great way to look at life.
Well, I think that's where perspective comes in too, because the truth is that so many Americans don't realize how much true abundance we live in,
Mhm.
because they've never gone outside of our borders or really expanded to try to understand, other cultures and things like that. The best example I can give that put so much in perspective for me, is, so my uncle has owned and had a lot of businesses out of China. And so one of the things that he would do is he would bring Chinese individuals from the companies when they needed to go through a training program, and he would bring them over to US to do some training, as well as kind of experience our culture and, like, just all the things that America has to offer. And oftentimes they would fly into Dallas Fort Worth, and so we would my uncle would invite us to go to like a dinner and things like that with these people. And I remember as a child how much it really expanded my viewpoint, because there's such a different philosophy and a different, cultural awareness. And I'll never forget that these gentlemen came in, and we were going to medieval times. And so we're going to medieval times, and 3 of the men that happened to be there, all their wives were pregnant. And I thought, wow, how exciting, this is like such a big life event for them. And what an amazing opportunity to talk to them about what's going on in their lives. And I said, are you guys excited? Oh, yes. And I said, do you know what you're having?
Mhm.
And they said, oh, no, we cannot find that out. And I was like, what do you mean? And they said, well, if the doctor tells us what the sex of the baby is, they actually can be put to death.
Wow.
Because if you remember back in the 90s, there was this whole period where, because Chinese culture, it was so important to have a boy and they could only have one child, they were literally abandoning their
Correct.
daughters on the street. And there was this huge insurge of Chinese female babies that came to US, because a bunch of the Chinese didn't want them. Well, then the Chinese discovered that, well, now we have this whole population of men who have no women, right? There's no females, and you can't exactly make a population if you don't have the opposite sex to be able to carry and bear children, right?
Right.
And so they made it illegal to be able to tell you what the sex of the child was. And then to take it a step further, one of them said, yeah, I'm so jealous when I see these families in America and they have so many children. Because I said, well, can't you guys have more than one child? And at the time, I believe now you can have, I think, 2, but at the time they could have 1 child. And if they wanted to have a second child, they had to do, it was like 2 or 3 times their annual salary. They had to pay for that privilege.
Wow.
Can you imagine? I mean, that's a lot of money if you think
That's a
about
lot
that,
of
right?
money.
Like,
Yeah.
that's a significant amount of money. And I thought to myself, how many Americans, and I don't say that to like bash a Chinese culture or whatever, right? Like, that's just the way that their
Yeah.
culture and things were set up. But how many Americans look at having a child, not just one child, but multiple children, as a privilege, as something we get the ability to do?
Yeah.
And it's like that with so many other things, right? Like money, like how many people discount the fact that we wake up every morning and there's food. Maybe it's a little bit of food, but something in your fridge.
Yeah.
That you have a roof over your head, that it's, like warm and whatnot. That just the whole concept is crazy. Like, I think about that a lot. And that's actually why I intersect with so many people and I enjoy conversations, because it shapes my perspective. It
Mhm.
reminds me to
Mhm.
be grateful, right, for the things that I have that
Yeah.
sometimes I take for granted.
That's so true. And that's going to show up in your relationships, right? We're going to be stressed, and the stress is about money. Children don't understand that. Like, let's say, when my son was younger, I would bring all the stresses from work home, and he doesn't know it's not about him. He would,
Right,
he would think mom is just stressed because I did something wrong. That's the story he's going to tell himself. If I am
right.
not clear about why I'm so stressed, what am I giving importance to, versus being present and understanding what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's just like I said, it's such an interesting thing. And so resilience and gratitude and some of the things that I mean, I've talked about all those things like over the course of the podcast, but they are so important. I think so often what people are looking for when they come to a podcast about money is, okay, invest in this big stock, or you should, stock away all your money here, or buy all these houses, or whatever. And the truth is that, yeah, absolutely. I mean, maybe you should invest in some stocks. Maybe real estate is the way you should go, and that's going to help your wealth or whatever, right? But the truth is if you're not dealing with some of the big picture things underneath the surface, like resilience and like, gratitude and things like this or whatever, all
And the
of
stories
that,
we tell ourselves about money.
right? All of that is for naught.
Yeah.
Or you might get money. Maybe you happen to invest in the right thing,
Mhm.
or you go ahead and you get a windfall, like you win the lottery or whatever, right? That kind of catapults the amount of money that you have or make. The problem is if that underlying story is still garbage, you're not going to hold it. You haven't reached true
100%.
financial mastery because you won't hold on to it. I mean, why is it that people can win millions and millions of dollars and be broke in several years?
True.
Because the stories, they had not corrected the limiting beliefs, the stories and all of that. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like they had not fixed that. And so it's just so important for people to know and understand um that if you want to truly reach financial mastery in a way, and you want to do it simply, you just
Mhm.
always are going to need to turn that dial inside.
Yes. Connection, coming back to connection, and understanding yourself about self-love, self-worth, and knowing oneself.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much. I mean, this is amazing conversation. We definitely probably could talk all day about all the things because you and I are so aligned on just, really, kind of unpacking, right? And I think what you're doing is so amazing because it is helping parents make sure that they're not ingraining a lot of that junk, right, into their children, and will make it easier for those children to succeed on a broader scope. But that's not to say, though, that if you're listening to this and you have some of that gunk, that you can't clear it, that you can't figure it out or whatever, right? Or that you have to pass it along to your children. So if you're interested in connecting with Sapna, she's going to share with you how you connect with her. And I think she's got a kind of some offers that she could give you that might help you level up to the next level yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Jax. Yeah, people can reach me at my website, sapnarad.com. There's a free downloadable that they can download, and I give free one-on-one as an introduction to what parenting success means and what it looks like. And I have courses. You can always reach out in my social media. I give a lot of tidbits and tools and tips on my Instagram and Facebook page, which is Sapna Rad Coaching.
That's awesome. Yeah, and you guys, like, seriously, resilience is something that I feel like our children are lacking a lot of because of the sort of snow plowing technique. And that's definitely not what we want for our children, right? Like, we want our children to thrive and to live happy, fulfilled lives. And so, if you are a parent and you're listening and you want help with that, I highly recommend you reach out to Sapna. And again, this has been such an amazing podcast episode. We are very appreciative. I hope this levels you up to the next level on Financial Mastery Simplified. And we look forward to seeing you back on the next episode.